Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Romeo back once again. It's kind of late. It's almost midnight Chicago time. So just finished this Aquascape and I'm gonna show you guys how I did it. But first, I'll show you a few things I usually use to do an Aquascape, and that's one of them is JB water wheel. I used to use this in the past because of course it's reef safe, but after a while it gets very hard, and I don't know, the quality nowadays of JB water wheel went down. Say about 4 or 5 years ago, it was pretty good. This tube is not even used. Okay, this one is still soft. Only thing about JB water wheel is you have to make sure that you use it outside the tank, because if you don't, this will make your skimmer go crazy. Like I said, I used to use JB water wheel because it was reef safe. I've tried that Instant Ocean, the epoxy, and that's okay, but in the long run, when you try to take anything out the tank or try to move anything, it just breaks apart easily, so wouldn't recommend that. As far as epoxy goes, the best epoxy I've used is Alteco's Epo Putty. It doesn't make the skimmer go crazy. It's easy to use. It's a 2-part epoxy. You can get off eBay or Jim's Reef or Olympics Reef or off eBay. Another thing that I do use is I go to the local dollar store and I usually get 2 for $1. These super glue gels. This is the gel kind. They also have the regular kind. Just screw the cap on and screw the green cap off, and there you go. Good for mounting corals and putting small rocks on your Aquascape. Nothing heavy. But for this Aquascape, I didn't use. Sometimes I will get a couple of rocks, and I will use a 1/2-inch masonry bit, just a masonry bit, 1/2 inch, to just drill down into the rock. Or I forget what size this is, but it's the exact same size as rigid airline tubing. You can drill that straight down, and you could use these thick acrylic rods. I mean, they're very strong, flat. So these are 1/2 inch. Take a 1/2 inch masonry bit, drill down, and then you will put this inside the hole and use the super glue gel. You put the super glue gel down in the hole and then put that down in there, or put your epoxy or anything, just to keep it down. Then you would mount the other side, drill and put up under the rock and mount it that way so it won't tip over. But for the Aquascape I just did, I didn't use anything but the eMarco 400. It was my first time using it. This is the gray one. It sets up as gray. I didn't use that one. This is the pink one. Now, you would think it was this pink, but it's really not. It's a real nice coralline algae color. It's not a bright, huge, bright purple. It's not a bland purple. It's like a eggplant purple. It looks pretty good. So, like I said, I used this during my whole Aquascape, and it's my first time using it, and I was a little intimidated because I never used this before. But when you get it, it will come in a bag like that, and this is the bag I used already. And it comes in a bucket and spatula. But this is the mix, and when you get this, you're going to see it looks like a regular fluid. But you don't use just the fluid. You have to add 12 ounces of water to it, shake it up good, and then use it. Some people get the bag and say, well, this is not enough fluid. There's not enough liquid to mix it with. So just take the cap off, fill the bag up with 12 ounces of water, shake it real good, and you're good to go. So you add some of the powder and add some of the mix. Mix it up in a cup, or you could use the bucket. It comes with a spatula. But I stopped using the bucket and I got a bunch of foam cups because with this stuff it sets real fast. So you don't want to use a whole bunch at one time. You make small batches, so I just went to the dollar store and got about 50 foam cups and used them. But this stuff works beyond fantastic. When you first mix it up, make it like a chewing gum consistency. Then you have about a good 20 minutes, I want to say. Once you apply it, it's a little greedy, then all of a sudden it foams up. It gets kind of soft and foamy. And then it gets brittle again, and after that you can forget about it. About another 15-20 minutes is rock hard. So yeah, this is what I used for this Aquascape. I'm not gonna take too much of you guys' time. I know you guys hate long videos. So yeah, this did come with instructions on how to mix it and use it, and the instructions were spot on. So now this is what I used to make the Aquascape. Let me show you guys the actual Aquascape. Now my Aquascape is in parts. I never build a whole Aquascape and then try to put it in the tank, and I don't build an Aquascape while it's in the tank. I always build it outside. I get some black tape and a white background, and I'll mark the dimensions of the tank, and then I always go in 3 inches from each side to make sure the algae cleaner is cool. Can scrape the glass. I'll go 3 inches from the front of the glass. I need 3 inches from the back, so I can always scrape the back glass if necessary. So yeah, I epoxy all my rocks together. I never leave loose rocks in the tank because I'm just picky like that and paranoid. I don't want a rock falling and hitting my glass and you hear me screaming way from Chicago. So I'm going to get to showing you the parts. So I think this Aquascape is in 6 parts, I think. So I'm going to show you part by part. Alright, this is part 1 of my Aquascape. This will be the left piece closest to the glass. I used all Marcorocks shelf rock and base rock. I didn't use any of their what's advertised as Key Largo rock. This is all shelf rock, and this is base rock. It's totally flat underneath, and this is the shelf rock. Now I don't have any acrylic rods supporting this. I don't have any zip ties, just pure Marco 400, and it's rock solid. It's not going nowhere. So this is one of the Tonga branches that is actually cemented to the bottom. Let's see if I can show you on the side. It's actually cemented here. Now this is not the Tonga branch. This is actually the Marco 400, the color pigmentation of it. So as you can see, it totally matches the color of the Tonga branch. It's a beautiful color. So this little rock here is just hiding the epoxy. This shelf piece right here is just epoxied on, well, cemented on. This would be strictly for coral placement, maybe a nice big torch coral or hammer coral, maybe a candy cane. This would be for maybe some Dunkins or something like that. And I really like this piece of shelf rock because it has all these deep holes and caves in it. Now, I didn't drill these holes; they were just already in there. So this is a shot of piece number 1. Alright, here's piece number 2. This is just a basic piece of shelf rock that's once again flat at the bottom, base rock. I epoxied the Tonga Branch Rock That's it. Beautifully made by Apurplereef.com. Um, this is the Marco 400. As you can see, it's rock hard, and it's a beautiful coralline color. This is piece number 2, and I have this rock sitting diagonal right here. See how it's sloping down? That's because piece number 1 will sit right flush with piece number 2 right here. So this is piece number 2. Now this is just one big huge base piece of Marcorocks. This is one little small piece of shelf rock just as a support for piece number 1 to sit on piece number 2. So let's move on. Okay, this is piece number 3. This is just a single standing place for corals. It has the Tonga Branch Rock fused into the Marcorocks. This is one piece of, once again, Marcorocks base rock. And it's totally flat underneath, as you can see, and extremely porous on top. Lots of place, knocks and nooks and crannies for corals. So this is piece number 3. Now piece number 3 will sit in the middle front and will act as a bridge underneath, and also as a place to, this is probably going to be my showpiece pedestal for coral. Maybe a big huge colony of Duncans, or maybe several torch corals, or something that's going to branch out and grow out that I can frag and then attach it to the same rock. So yeah, I think that'll work out pretty good. So this branch rock is actually a piece that broke off. My fault, not part of Chris at the Apurplereef. This is all my fault. This piece broke off, so I just epoxied it to the bottom of this shelf piece, and I used pieces like this little rubber rock to, just like that piece right there. I probably just put that there and epoxy just to disguise it. So this is piece number 3. This would be the centerpiece for a big coral. So let's move on. Okay, this is piece number 4 of my Aquascape with this long fused Tonga Branch Rock. Very tall. So I epoxied it to a piece of Marcorocks shelf rock. Put a couple of pieces of, broke up shelf piece rock up and cement into each side, so make it look like it's actually growing out of the rock. And also it covers up a lot of the base. So this will be piece number 4. Now this big long piece, what this is going to be is, I have a nice colony of ultra toxic green star polyps. It's the real long polyp type. It's not the small short stumpy type. So I'm going to mount it a couple of pieces here, a piece here, a piece here. And one thing about GSP, it likes to grow towards the light, so I don't want to put it all the way up here because it's not going to grow down. So I'm going to put it right here, maybe a piece right here, and let it cover the whole front and back, because if this is a nice piece of branch rock, very tall. So this is strictly for my GSP colony. Okay, this is piece number 5 and 6. This is piece number 5. Another piece of nice base rock, and 2 pieces of Tonga branch coming out of the rock. They epoxied real good on there so they won't tip over or fall. Got the rubber rock and super glued the rubber rock first. This is super glued, then little pieces of epoxy. I tried to cover all the jagged file off all the jagged edges, because my clownfish, sometimes they like to, get startled, and they like to swim away real fast and scrape themselves on a rock. So this is piece number 5, this section. It's number 5. Okay, this section is number 6. So what this essentially is a piece of base rock and another piece of base rock sitting on top of that, and in the back is cemented so it can't fall forward. Has one big nice piece of branch rock. Very nice piece. Very ultra 3-dimensional look of an aquascape. So this is piece 5. This is piece 6. And piece 6 has this shelf connected to it right in this joint. So this piece right here is joined right here and all in the back and sits on this piece. Now it can come up, but Marcorocks is so diverse it looks like it's melded together, but it's not. This piece actually comes up and this piece separates and that piece separates. Has a nice shelf underneath. Lots of nooks and crannies. This is going to be a copepod haven. Copepods love nooks and crannies. So now I'm gonna put it all. Excuse me. I'm gonna put it all together, all the pieces, and show you the full aquascape. Now this was going to be for a 90-gallon when I first started out, but my clownfish, I don't know, I just didn't like the aquascape. So this is actually going inside of a 55. So I've already measured and outlined it on, white paper first. And it's perfect for a 55. It's nice and narrow. The aquascape is not, as you can see, it's not all the way huge and all the way to the back. So I'm going to put all the pieces together and then show you what the whole aquascape looks like. Okay, now what I'm going to do is show you guys how this piece fits. It just slides right in between these two pieces, like so. So it's a nice, overhang. Great place for corals. Sits flat, no movement. Once again, this branch rock looks like it's actually growing out of the rock. Okay, then piece number 2 fits perfectly right there. So that will be piece number 2. That sits firmly there, connecting to the other pieces. I actually have a bridge that fits. Sorry for the camera movement, but this would fit right here, like so. Now with this piece here, I'm going to put some zoas on top of it. And when the zoas grow out, I can always just remove the piece, frag them, put it back. Okay. For piece 1 and 2, this piece goes here. Makes a nice tunnel and archway. Also a nice place to put corals. Maybe some candy canes or some zoas going down. Or maybe some zinnia, since it's an easy piece to move out. And frag the zinnia and put it back. And one more piece I have is this big huge branch piece. Now it's not broken. I do have cement on top. Only because of the weight of how heavy it is, I don't want the branch to break. And this big piece goes there. So this is the whole aquascape. Nothing big, nothing fancy. Nice and slim for 55 or 75. Lots of nooks and crannies. Lots of tunnels. Lots of arches. Lots of hideaways. And just a lot of places to put corals. So that is the whole aquascape. For my small 55, it's nothing big, nothing elaborate. It's just for a bunch of clownfish. They've left lots of room on the sand bed for acans or a small clam or anything that's on the sand bed. Lots of space for corals to grow out. Lots of platforms. Lots of places for crabs and copepods and fish to swim through and play. And one thing I love about this aquascape is you can't tell where it begins and where it ends. Okay, one more thing I want to mention before I end this video. For all those that's saying, well, you can still see the purple. I mean, that's fine, because once coralline starts to grow, you really won't even notice it. But for those that are picky, like me, you can go on Amazon and get, I'll send you the link. You can actually get 300 seashells for like $5. Beautiful, nice seashells at that. So what you could do is, like for this spot here, that this rock sits in, you can see there's a big, gap right here. Just stick a seashell there. You can either super glue it or just leave it there, and you won't even be able to see it. Super glue it there, and it looks natural. It's a seashell. For a spot like this one, grab another seashell, just super glue it, and hide that spot. That's all. Can't even see it now. Like I said, you get 300 seashells. Well, I think I paid $5 for them. For parts like this, just super glue that there. Problem solved. Can't even see the purple no more. But yeah, you get a lot of different shells. That's nice. That's nice. This looks crazy. That's nice. Yeah, it's a bunch of real pretty snail shells and seashells. So yeah, you can hide all your spots that you really, well, I really don't have that many because I've used the epoxy and rubble method, but yeah, it's real simple to cover up those spots that you don't want to see where the epoxy was joined, or all it takes is a little dab of super glue and problem solved. So this is my aquascape for my clownfish tank. Hope you guys liked it. I know it's a pretty long video. It's late. I'm tired. I'm not going to edit this video. I mean, I never edit any of my videos because that's just not me. I keep it real. I keep it 100. So this is it. This is my aquascape. I'm going to add a few shells to cover up these little spots. And that's going to be the end of that. So thanks again. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you hate it. Got any questions? Hit me up in the comments. Happy reef keeping.